spooky intro music that we totally paid for. It's a real sound effect because it's that time of the year, people. Ladies and gentlemen.
Can you move a little bit? Jeez,
no!
Christ.
You're in my way.
Jeez, there you go. A little bit better.
Oh, yeah, we did look pretty close there in the camera.
Yeah, it's so crowded. Make sure that you don't kick any of those. No, your foot.
I can see.
Yeah, just be careful.
If the lighting
Close
goes
as
down, you know
fuck.
why. Welcome back to the 49th. 49th?
Yeah, 49.
49th episode. You know, we do it every week, and I always forget what the next number is.
Yeah, same here.
I have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing it for a while, but it feels like we haven't improved at all. Amazing.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I swear, by episode 50, we'll be at least like a millimeter further than we were today. But today is going to be another freeform episode.
Yeah,
but
I believe this is Freeform 3?
3 or 4 now.
3 or 4, yeah.
And we're specifically going to talk around topics about Halloween and the supernatural. We were talking about our favorite horror movies earlier.
Right.
And I gotta say,
and then also Freeform, like anything goes, basically.
Yeah.
And then, like we said earlier, not earlier in this episode, but previous episode, we introduced the structure of freeforms, and then basically we just talk about anything we want freely. And then also another important thing, we get high, people.
we self-medicate beforehand. I think it's a essential operation to the process, specifically when you're trying to think more open-mindedly. Well, I don't think it necessarily makes you think more open-mindedly, but you're
just different state. We're in a different state, a little bit more flowy, free, good,
a better state. Basically, like no negative consequences. You just stayed.
Yeah, I mean,
mostly good state.
We both are kind of late, starters when it comes to weed, because I had a really hard time. I had tried it many times, and I usually get just really tired. I want to go to sleep. But and then people had told me that you need to try different strains and blah blah blah, and I tried all of them, and not all of them as in fucking all the weeds in the world.
It was just every time you would try
every type, something new, something a little bit different. I try them, still the same effect, and years passed. Suddenly tried it, edible, right, for the first time in New York. Back in 2020.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah. So, and then I had a great time.
Or 2021.
March or something like that.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, I had a great time, and after that, I got a little more confidence, right? So, okay, I can handle this. So I smoked, and then I was fine too.
Yeah.
So
you you got a positive effect smoking, right? Which was unusual, because there was times where you had an effect that was negative.
Suddenly, like, edible, right? Did a trick, and I'm like all cured right now. You know what I mean?
The medicine to the medicine.
Yeah, I just don't understand why that's like dramatically changed.
Do you think because it allowed you to be in a state that was enjoyable? So you kind of like...
I mean, that's for sure, but that's more like consequential, that's more like, result-based.
I know, but
inference.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, do you think because the edible experience was good, it kind of removed the almost like traumatic PTSD experience with smoking? So you were more open to the sensation and the feeling.
I mean, that is true psychologically, but I don't think that is true physiologically.
Yeah, right? It would just be interesting to know.
But I don't know. I mean, it could have been, the psychological, I guess, achievement at the time, right? Kind of override my physiological barriers. I don't know what happened exactly.
Yeah.
Or physiologically, I was somehow changed because of that edible.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care, people, because I get stoned all the time.
Please send all employer information over to KaiHam at kyleham@gmail.com. Always looking for work. But so interesting. I had a similar experience recently. I feel like with my alcohol consumption in New York.
Yeah,
I had a very
so
interesting.
True. Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah. So typically when I drink,
because I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
I typically, I only need a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Not in order to necessarily get buzzed, but more than a couple drinks, and I'm super hungover the next day.
Right, but you're not
sick.
like that when you're in mid-20s.
Yeah, I wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, you're better, for sure.
Yeah, I drank all the time. We'd go out famously like 5 days a week. It was too much, but we drank like with no issues and relatively no hangover the next day. And then suddenly in the last couple of years, just 2 or 3 drinks. And if they're a drink I feel I have an allergy to or something's going on, then I really have a bad time. Like even one drink can do it. But usually I gotta stick to like Guinness. I can drink more than 2 or 3. Right. But we were in New York and hanging out with friends, so we haven't seen them in a long time. And you get together, you have dinner, and you drink, and you're enjoying yourself. So I would have a lot more drinks than I ever would in like the last year or so. And surprisingly, I don't know if it's because we were eating like at night as well a lot more, but the next morning I'd be fine. I wouldn't be hungover. And we did this multiple nights in New York. So it was similar, I don't think physiologically I'm any different, but I don't know if it was like a combination of the food or the enjoyable atmosphere, the psychological component that made me feel better, so I didn't like even in the next morning kind of like carry over the thoughts. I don't know how much I was projecting onto myself versus how much was like a real physiological thing.
I don't know. I mean, if it was a physiological effect, right? If you had the same effect, right, than before, then you wouldn't have been able to really enjoy. I mean, your body's not able to enjoy in the first place, right? But also there's another scenario where it's a psychological, so your psychological effect is so strong that it overrides it before that whatever bad state reaches or starts to manifest. Basically before the threshold, your psychological effect takes in and takes over. I don't know, like I don't know what the case is exactly.
Well, I mean, we've been watching a lot of climbing videos lately because that's our obsession, one of the passions, one of the hobbies we have. And it's interesting to see how much of the physiological aspect can carry over into climbing, right? So think about if we're going to make the analogy, we typically associate climbing as a more empirical thing, like physical fitness. So we wouldn't say it would be like psychological, right? But you can see the very real impact that your psychology has on your ability to perform. Like you may have always been capable of performing at that level, but your psychology wasn't there. You weren't able to pull it together, So then also like displays in the physiological, like the send, so how much of the hangover is the hangover or how much of it's like the psychological aspect, the ideas I'm carrying with it. And this also kind of ties into what we always talking about how the first concept you're given, like this worldview, is the way you paint the world and the way you can only see it.
Right.
Think about the power of that. And that's purely psychological, but affects everything how you navigate the physiological world.
Yeah.
So, there's another good example of it.
Great example. And I think psychological effects are real in that, like, you just made an analogy with, what did you say?
The climbing.
I mean, but I think that applies to almost everything, right? Pretty much. Especially if we really limit this conversation within sports, very prominent phenomena that we know already. But in terms of specifically climbing, like I just worked on this slab problem, and I wasn't even able to do that. The first move, remember?
Yeah,
I couldn't even stand on it. I couldn't even start it.
Yeah.
But I had been working on my foot skills for quite some time now. I think it's more like, even though that period was pretty short, my processing was so strong and like on point. I'm not kind of showing off here, but I had been really thinking about it actively. That's what I'm saying. Like the footwork, every different scenarios. Like it was in my head for a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I was able to, even though that time during which I applied my knowledge or new concepts, I was still able to pull it off because
it plays a huge factor thinking about things in the way you can like manifest that into your reality, which seems fucking crazy, but it's true. I mean, that's what studying is, right? Like you're actively studying, and there's a real like physical component you're able to express when you've studied and thought about it like so much.
I mean, this is so true in knowledge as well, that when you read something, you feel like you understand, right? You read something, you understand. And then obviously the level of understanding in relation to the length of knowledge matters, right? You have to develop this over time. Like not anybody can, unless you're a fucking genius, not anybody can just read, for example, Nietzsche's Birthday of Tragedy once for the first time. Oh, I understand what this dude is saying. Exactly. No, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Unless like you've been reading a lot and that you've been reading especially philosophy works, things of that nature. But
then you really have vocabulary to understand.
Vocabulary is a great part as well. But also what I'm saying is that you need to practice how to really process information. When you're absorbing knowledge, which is even bad word, I think. Absorbing is really bad word. It's really passive, right? So when you learn something new, you really have to process it in your head. Otherwise, processing meaning that you need to connect that new knowledge with all the dots that you have, relevant dots in your head, right? Then it lasts for a long time and you understand better.
Yeah,
right? That's what I'm getting at. And then it applies to, almost anything, like knowledge in general,
Yeah, that's the only way you can apply it is through thorough research and thought. Or it grants you a deeper access to the understanding and the information that's presented to you. It's how something experientially can mean something so different conceptually. There's also like layers to conceptual understanding. Like as you develop more and more like familiarity with who Nietzsche is and his work and relevant works and that time period, culture, history, you get a deeper level of truth and knowledge.
Yeah.
And not to say it supersedes the previous knowledge, but it's a more thorough understanding or more relatable. You can feel like I get what he's trying to say. And that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Because just like climbing, actually it's funny you mentioned thinking about that. When I did my first V10, I remember the night before pulling out my notebook, writing the moves, each beta, like what I do, like where my hand goes, what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like each individual move, it's like being a couple pages long of beta. But running through that process in my mind the night before, I really think is what allowed me to sin. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was like, okay, I know exactly what to do, how to do it. I just have to do it now.
Yeah.
There's like no more excuse, And I went up there by myself, like hiked up all my pads, and like the top out, it's like a weird traverse walk off, and I had no pads under me, but I was just like, if I get there, I just gotta do it. I won't care. It's just down climbing, some whatever. But just the power that thought process and continually rehearsing in your mind and trying to understand something unlocks more of your potential.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting. I think there should be a study. I don't know how we would do it, but a study to show how much the psychology can affect behavior in certain fields.
Yeah,
that would be super interesting.
Yeah.
How much of it is actual a psychology component or psychological aspect?
Yeah.
Manifesting in the physical.
Yeah.
Because it's going to vary for so many different things, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, that processing and really trying to interpret new information through yourself and your identity and your knowledge is really important, right? I mean, that's probably the next level to experiential knowledge, right? When someone writes a book about a certain subject, obviously that person has a greater understanding of the subject because not every concept's like this, but let's assume that he wrote something about something that he had experienced, right? If we haven't experienced the same thing, it'll be really hard for us to have the same level of understanding. But at least the way we get close to it is to really process it.
Yeah,
that's really similar to experiencing it, actually, because you're actively processing the information. Meaning that, again, as I said earlier, you're comparing or referencing that your previous knowledge to interpret that new information, right? So that's, as close as it gets.
Yeah.
Without experiencing it.
Yeah, and that's what makes these, artists, writers, whoever is conveying the idea, when they can do it so effectively for so many people, they're a master of it, right? Like they're a master of the craft. Like they at least trick you into believing you can totally understand what that person's going through, or why, or what it was like, or how, or you can really relate.
Yeah, we just watched a documentary about, I think it's called Dawn Wall, the most daunting wall on Yosemite, right?
Yep, it's in Yosemite.
Yeah. What is his name? Tommy
Caldwell. Yeah, Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgensen.
You gotta watch it. I don't want to do any spoilers here, but basically the one part that I think I can talk about is that he lost a part of his ability to climb. He's a great climber, by the way. Part of his ability, so everybody thought that he wouldn't be able to climb again.
Yeah, they're like,
at least at the same level, right? Yeah, that's what even the doctor said. You probably have to switch your careers. But then what it does, he comes back stronger.
Like, how is that possible?
Exactly. He didn't give up, and he basically came up with new ways to develop the shortcomings. The things that can overcome shortcomings, right?
Isn't that more revealing how powerful the psychological is? Like, greater than the physiology?
Yeah.
Or physiological aspect, the human body.
Yeah, don't use the hard words right now, so I'm high.
Physio.
But, that's a great example of, obviously his willingness to not giving up is one thing, but another thing is that active learning, active, development.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've lost ability, part of my ability. What do? You can give up, but what you can do is that the rest of your, climbing ability and skills, you can develop them more to compensate for what you've lost, right? Not anybody can think that.
Yeah.
Not anybody, right?
Yeah. He had something happen, and he was like, okay, what do I have to change in my beta to make this work?
Yeah.
Like, in his real life beta. He's like, yeah, this is the crux, but I've done this 100 times. I'm going to find a way to do it again.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
truly inspiring. Yeah, that's the kind of person you want to be.
Was probably one of the best documentaries I've ever watched. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Great storytelling, and then the content itself. So basically, the story about him is so unique. That's what makes it so good, in my opinion. The high production quality and really great storytelling is there. There are things. Those are the skills as well, but the story itself is so beautiful. So you can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I would highly recommend it to anybody that's maybe not a climber or familiar with climbing.
You don't have to be, really.
Yeah, or maybe you're just like, you climb or you dabble, but this film is totally worth checking out just for the merit of film quality.
Yeah. Some people may say that, that's just obsession, Some people may say that. But even if you're not climbers, and even if you don't know anything about climbing, I think that documentary will speak to you in some different ways.
Yeah, I think so.
I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Obsession is such a strange thing because it has such a negative connotation surrounding it. Like, it's addiction almost, like an obsession. But there are so many things that are so worthy. Like there's no other aspect or choice you can make other than to obsess. Isn't that like passion to a large degree?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I think there are multiple ways to really distinguish between an obsession and a passion. One of them is that, like, if you destroy your life, including people around you, for whatever you're doing, they may not be healthy. You know?
Yeah. But what if it's viewed as destroying their life because they don't agree with your path? You know what I mean? Like, what if people feel
regardless of the path and regardless of his time and his effort for that, passion, regardless of those, and still he is destroying his life in a way that affects people he loves,
Yeah, but I mean, there's people out there, I'm sure you've known them. I've known them all through, like, the Christian church and things of that, where they feel like you're ruining your life if you're not on that path. Like, you're actively ruining your life, and they don't understand it, so they make you out to be...
that's a lack of understanding of his work.
So I would say most people, though, that would say what he was doing as an obsession is a lack of understanding. Of course, even I don't know the guy personally, so I can't say for sure. Only his close friends, relatives, and himself could make that kind of claim if it was an obsession or a passion. And I'm sure it was an obsession at some points. Like, it had to be. You know what I mean? Like, you probably don't get there on just, like, passion and the joys of struggle.
Yeah, alone. I think that part is described pretty well in the documentary. That, yes, like you said, it appeared to be an obsession at some point. I mean, you guys will understand what I'm talking about if you watch the documentary. It appears to be an obsession, but it becomes a passion eventually, right? Yeah. That's what happened to him.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I think they're going to always be conflated, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think I do agree with you that a lot of times those passions, because especially strong passions, may appear to other people as an obsession, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of times. More often than not, I think that's the case.
Yeah, or totally misunderstood.
In order to go deep that much, it requires something that is not ordinary. Therefore, people may not understand it.
Yeah. But how else do you change history, too?
Exactly,
Very hard to make a real impact if you do literally the same thing everybody else has done at some point.
Yeah.
That's also the risk you take, because a lot of people probably do take that path and fail.
Yeah, people... I mean, I don't want to...
People like us.
I don't want to use that word too much, people, because I may come off as just generalizing this. But it is true, though, that most of us are born into this imposed ideas. We've talked about this many times, but it is true that we are born into ideas that we do not choose, for a long time, and then we evaluate all the things that make us, and then find our own, right? I mean, that's pretty much the another description of a life, right? I don't know what I was gonna say.
You're on kick there. I was excited. I was excited for that kernel of truth.
But I forgot.
Wow.
Actually,
we're deep
we've
here.
Talked about this short-term memory loss.
One of the potentially alarming.
Yeah, it looks like that's the case. Seems like there hasn't been any solid study or like universal consensus that smoking weed or consumption of THC may result in
short-term memory loss.
Yeah. So I don't know. It could be true or not, but from my experience, I feel like I'm losing it.
He just starts talking and he doesn't even know what he's going to say at the end.
So in a way, I was kind of happy that I couldn't really find a solid study that really shows the correlation. but at the same time, well, why do I need a validation here? Because I feel that way.
You know what's happening.
And then we don't really consume that too much. Compared to stoners at least. We're still in Phoenix. There's no a lot of physical activities or places we can go for them. So don't get me wrong, we have some mountains here.
We went and hiked the other one
the other day, and then Sedona is about 2-3 hours from here.
Yeah, a few hours.
So, there are some places, but it's not. They are not really accessible, and then traffic is horrible here, and constructions are everywhere. So we're pretty much at home all the time, and then we're not really doing that coffee business anymore. So we're trying to do other work. But at the same time, we're not really doing almost anything other than going to the gym and climbing at home.
Yeah.
So we tend to do more, weed and, things like that. But we don't really, generally, we don't do that all the time.
No. I mean, we're usually too busy is the thing.
Yeah, right.
We're just too busy to be consuming that frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, in New York, we went... Every day we did something. I don't think there was a day in New York where we just chilled. Was there?
No.
I mean, Stowe. If
we wanted to. We had a day of break because we really needed to.
Yeah.
Because we were so big.
Yeah.
We're whipped.
With all the drinking, the eating.
Yeah.
And then, going to the gym with strained biceps and all that. We were beat for sure. But I mean, it took us a long time to recover from that experience. But yeah, like you're saying, we're typically on the go. So we don't have a lot of opportunities where we just sit around and record podcast and do other things.
And then, we're looking for jobs right now. We've had, I don't know, year and a half of break.
Yeah. Actually, a year and 6 months.
Yeah,
for sure.
We originally wanted to live in Thailand for a year, but we didn't. We actually chose not to. We came back here and we decided that we need to go back to work. So a lot of things that we planned didn't pan out until now. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, but it didn't really pan out. So we need financially need to do something.
We like the good cuts of meat, man.
Yeah. So that's why we're trying to get a job. Well, anyway, so once we get a job, it's not going to be here in Phoenix. We're going to move to, we have so many candidates right now. Colorado, Seattle, New York, upstate New York, and Korea, Japan, France, Germany. So we have
we've got too many options.
I don't know what we're doing actually. What are you doing here? Are you gonna ever find a job in 6 different areas? What are we doing? But we're trying to find a place, something in one of those areas because those are great places that we've actually researched, right?
Yeah, we've looked up every one for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think we've gone and looked at the overseas locations other than the preliminary Google search and images and all that. But I mean, in the U.S. at least, we definitely set out and ranked a list.
Yeah.
And Salt Lake City was on the list initially.
Yes. Number 1, I remember, was Seattle. Right?
Number 1 was Seattle.
Seattle. And number 2 was Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was San Francisco?
Yeah, California.
Somewhere in California, right?
Yeah.
San Diego. I think it was San Diego.
It might have been San Diego.
And then number 4 was, where was it? I'm asking you a question.
Troy?
No, that was not Troy. In our minds, yes, Troy's one of the best.
Yeah, but it wasn't one of the places on the list. It was Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Salt Lake City. Yeah, I was really surprised to see that Salt Lake City was there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be stoked to go live in Salt Lake City with all the Mormons, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know. I don't know if you can really get affected by all those things.
I think you can, man. I definitely think you can. That culture is so strong.
Mm-hmm. I guess
so
also it depends.
Church,
it depends on where we live in Salt Lake City, right? I'm sure there are some heavily populated areas and less populated areas.
Yeah, I just feel like the city events would be way more tame and kind of like.
Just don't go there then.
Yeah, I know, but that's a bummer. I mean, it's cool when cities have events. You're like, I like my city.
I think, but also Salt Lake City has great nature, right?
Yeah, I mean the nature
probably
is
one of the reasons that a lot of people moved there in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really interested, honestly, because we can't even fly there sometimes if you want to climb. But
it's super close.
If you live in Colorado, man, the Colorado is awesome too, right? Great mountains and hiking, climbing, geez, you name it, man. Yeah. So I mean, Colorado is up there. It's not, it's not a compromised choice.
No, not at all. Yeah. We got good friends there too.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Marty and Tasha.
Marty,
we go and see them Friday. Crazy.
Yes, actually, we're flying to Colorado.
Yeah, we're going there for a festival concert thing.
Concert for Halloween. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is about.
Yeah, we got the tickets already.
It's just a concert. EDM concert.
I think it's EDM. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time anyway. So we love EDM as well. So we just our friend asked us if you want to go. Sign us in, man. Of course.
It was like 2 months ago. Like, absolutely, we'll be there. No problem.
So we're gonna go there on Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
Either drive there when we get the van back, because my van's in the old shop.
Yeah.
And we'll either drive if the van gets returned. If not, we'll just fly in.
Yeah.
Fly out. We'll do what we did for the hike. Go in for like 3 days and then come back.
Yeah. True. For the weekend.
Yeah, super easy.
Yeah, something like
that. Get
some
climbing in, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Bring our shoes.
Maybe.
Outclimb Marty.
Yeah, we gotta go keep Marty light, in his place. So we can bring our shoes. I mean, what am I talking about? We carried our shoes anywhere we went in Thailand with that fucking 46-liter backpack. So
you should have seen all the gear. Had all the rock climbing gear with us.
Yeah,
cameras, lighting equipment,
everything. Yeah.
Mics, podcast, clothes,
2 t-shirts,
boots.
1 pants.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a heavy load. Remember every time they'd want to go pick up our thing, to either help us. It's just they
were pretty heavy.
They're like, that's too heavy.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna
like a third of their weight, or like half
light
some of them.
Backpacks. So yeah, we can bring our shoes and climb there if possible. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd
be really cool. We'll run up the Flatiron, the second Flatiron.
Yeah,
gotta take you and Marty up it. I haven't went and done it in a long time, so
yeah,
it's gonna be so easy now. I did that when I was like brand new into climbing.
Yeah, it's what's the angle exactly?
I have no idea.
About,
I'd say 65 tops.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's exposure. Like you can't like stand straight up.
Yeah,
you're like fine. Crawling basically up a hill,
a
rock hill, and the hard part's at the bottom. So that's good at least. It's like 12 feet up.
Okay.
And then you just get a beautiful view. You have to do this run jump. It's really interesting.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
So, back to the original content. Horror stories. I
don't have any horror story. Well, actually, I know I have one because I just watched this YouTube video.
You've been watching YouTube again, boy?
Do you have any, by the way?
YouTube stories? I have plenty of YouTube stories.
But, scary stories?
No, I don't have any scary stories. But we're going to talk about some of our favorite horror movies.
Oh, horror movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So you remember The Thing, right? Carousel.
Wait a second. I want to talk about this scary story before we move on.
Let's hear it.
It's pretty short. It's about a girl. I think. Well, I don't want to reveal any of her identity, but she said. So she basically has this ability to see ghosts.
Okay.
Since she was very young, And she thought that, this is from her perspective, she was telling the story, she thought that that's normal because nobody had noticed it. She hadn't talked to anybody about it. She just sees things, and she thought that, oh, okay, probably this is normal, that everybody does. Everybody sees this. That's what she thought when she was young. And then when she grew up, that's when she found out that's not normal at all. So she has that ability. It's inevitable. It's undoubtable, basically, to her, because she just sees. There's no other way. So she's not lying or anything, but she believes that ghosts love music, because according to her experiences, anywhere that she goes that has a music all the time, she sees them more often in those places. Yeah. And then she goes on to this story where her friend is a music composer, something like that. They're close friends, so she was asked to come over to her friend's place because her friend had made this new song, right? And then she lives alone, so she goes there. She set the computer for to play the music, basically. So all you have to do is hit the enter, and she tells her friend that, okay, so all you have to do is hit the enter, and then you're gonna hear it. Let me make some food. So the doors open. She goes to the kitchen area, starts the cooking, and then she sits down at the computer and then plays the music. And then after a few minutes or so, she feels like something's behind her, very strongly. So she turns around, and then she sees a little boy who was sitting on the floor right by the door, right? And she said that usually when she sees ghosts, she can usually tell whether or not those are human. But that boy looks so real, just like a person, real. So she immediately asked her, I guess they were not that close that she didn't know that whether or not her friend has a brother. So she asked her friend, hey, by the way, do you have a brother? And she said, what are you talking about? No. Do you live alone here? And then she says, yeah. Okay, stop. I don't know what you're trying to do, but yes, I live alone. She got scared a little bit. So she really didn't tell her what she had seen because she didn't want to scare her friend. Okay, so it's all good. And then plays the music again. And then she checks the boy again. And then he's wobbling his head side to side like this, right? To the beats of the music, right? And she just thought that, okay, I guess he's not really, malicious or anything. He's not going to hurt me or anything. And then her friend comes in with a table, like this Asian table with the food, so they can sit down and eat. And then music is still playing. They sit down, start to eat, and then this kid goes like wobbling heads so fast that is clearly not human. Like, that's not something human can do. Like, oh my god! When I heard that story, I'm like, oh my god, that's so scary.
I would not like that at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was
that's so suspenseful.
Relieved, right, in a way that, okay, I think he's just cool, something like that, and then he just starts.
His head just keeps moving. Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was pretty good.
Shit.
Good suspense building.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a long story. I didn't think it was
gonna
be long. It felt long.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it was forever too. Like, should I stop here?
That was good. I don't have any stories.
Yeah.
Like campfire stories of.
Be careful, seriously.
Anything spooky.
Really, yeah.
But it's useful, I think, to have a few good stories up your sleeve, right? You always want one or two. Yeah. It's good to have some in every bit of genre.
Dude, there are so many YouTube channels these days, even podcasts, that specifically their themes are the scare stories and horror and things like that.
I know. We tried looking one up the other day.
Yeah, but most of them are bad. Those are bad. I mean, and they're so long. I mean, break them down. Like, I don't know where the story, one story starts and ends, and where the next story starts. You know what I mean? Like, if they have this timeline, I would actually watch it.
Yeah. You could find distinction easier way. I guess you could do that in the YouTube thing, like segments or clips or shorts of it, and then just divvy it up.
If you want to see that.
Look, we're fucking experts at podcasting, YouTubing, and you guys are messing it up. You're dropping the ball. Dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Ball needs to be up here. About down here. See how low my hand is?
So, what were you going to talk about earlier?
Well, I was talking about The Thing.
Oh, The Thing?
Yeah.
The original one?
Yeah, it was in theaters again recently over here.
Yeah.
And we should see if they're still playing it.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be totally one worth seeing.
It'd be really refreshing to watch it on a big screen.
Yeah, never got the chance. I think that's a really cool thing that seems to be coming back. The Alamo Draft House. I don't know if they started, but running old flicks.
Yes. I have no clue who started it, but Alamo Willie does it well.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful experience. You get to go see something you never saw on the big screen and kind of get an idea of what that experience was like.
Really, an unfortunate thing is that people may have different, even if, those who have gone to Alamo may have different, opinion about Alamo than us. Because I do remember, so we live in Austin for many years, and I think Alamo, pretty sure that's where their headquarters is, right?
I think it started in San Antonio, and now it's Austin. It's one or the other, but the headquarters, I believe, is in Austin.
Yeah, but Austin is obviously one of the, big scenes when it comes to movies, right? But I'm losing my...
Why people might not like Alamo.
Oh, yeah. And then, by the way, before we talk about it, Alamo Theaters Draft House is awesome.
Amazing.
Fucking cool. So cool.
Nailed it.
I mean, in so many different ways. But when I went to Dallas, me and my friends decided to watch a movie, and then there was an Alamo, right? So I went there, but the experience was a little bit different.
Really? How so? What was it like?
So the audience were... there were some people who were, talking during the movie, but it was not really, they were not stopped, unlike in Alamo Draft House in Austin.
Yeah,
they stopped them right away, almost right away, right?
Yeah.
And then the whole preview thing, before preview, how to call it, the things that they show related to basically the movie that they were playing, right, in that theater.
Oh yeah,
right, all those things were a little bit different.
Yeah,
because those things are fucking awesome, so cool, right?
Remember? You're really good, very creative.
Yeah,
they basically run old movies, flicks, and then they throw different subtitles on it, or they play it in a unique way to get a funny message across to the audience.
Yeah, kind of
really unique,
kind of built up for the movie.
Or you get some background on the movie, how it was made, blah blah blah.
Information,
some really cool information. Right? Yeah. So that's a bummer. Yeah, if I didn't have that experience going to Alamo, I would think Alamo sucks. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It seems like whoever is running that Alamo is not doing a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing that makes Alamo cool. And now that everywhere you have to reserve your ticket for, it's kind of they really need to tighten their competition. They got to perform well. Everybody's doing it now. Everybody's serving food in movie theaters. It's
really?
Yeah, man. Lots of places do. They serve burgers at the movie theater we go to. And then the other place, Flicks.
How can I not know that?
In New Mexico. Remember that place we went to when we saw Up? Or not Up, but the new Jordan Peele movie.
Oh, the UFO thing?
Yeah, not a great movie, by the way, guys.
What was the name of the movie? We just watched.
Don't Look Up.
No,
that's the Oscar.
Oh my god.
Well, whatever. Jordan Peele's
new movie, the latest
Nope.
movie.
It was Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Nope.
Okay. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was not.
It's coming back.
Not very good. Really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematography and those things, but I don't think he's ever going to top his first, man. I don't think anything will ever beat Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah. I mean, there are some disappointing things in the movie, but yeah, I mean, it still was good. I mean, it was better than the previous one, Us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Us was horrible.
Yeah, it
atrocious.
was pretty bad.
And then it just got well reviewed because it was on politically
yeah, I think
relevant
one of the
issues.
things that I can at least point out as a fan is that movies in general, like when the message you're trying to convey is too strong, meaning that if it is superficial, then it really doesn't speak to the audience. You're just putting words in their mouths.
Yeah.
And then people know, like, that's why they get, like, I don't know, like, subconsciously, like, you're offended.
Well, it's because they're telling you what to think. It feels
exactly.
Nobody likes being told what to do.
Yeah.
They like being
Especially what to
suggested something
think about a thing that you're just trying to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, it's too on the nose. You got to be a little more subtle in the art. And don't get me wrong, I understand that delivering it like raw and face value can be intentional and work. I just feel like it's very hard to pull it off.
Yeah.
When you're going to be like so direct, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it could be used as a tool, in a big framework, but if that is the essence of the story, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
In any way.
Yeah.
Unless there's like even a comedy. Yeah, even if there's a comedy, that doesn't work, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because you want characters to be likable.
Yeah, I think that's why Yes Man is a great comedy movie, right? Compared to a lot of other comedy movies, because it doesn't, like, people don't even think about the message, But yeah, more subtle and open question. I do like personally open questions, like this is it. What do you think, right? Yeah. I like that way more than even if they're subtle, the message is fixed, I mean, they're great fucking movies like that too. But to me, like, that open question, if the movie ends with an open question, like, oh shit, I fucking love that.
Yeah, because it just puts it back into your hands.
It echoes.
They're handing it to you, and you think about it, and you're like, what do I want to believe?
Yeah.
And you're trying to piece it back together in your mind.
Yeah.
To like be like, what was the message?
Yeah. And then I just so much respect for the director and writers that, like, you knew that you're gonna end this story with an open question, but you have done a great job to, really maintain your position neutral, and then still the storytelling worked.
Yeah.
Without really leaning toward any way.
Yeah, being impartial almost in the presentation, or giving sides that both are likable enough that makes it difficult to know.
Yeah.
And also the ones where there is no side. I like movies like that are kind of nihilistic. They're devoid of any value. Right. Essentially, like in God-given value or essential value. They're all robbed of that, and it's just like it just is what it is.
Yeah. Basically, that's like supernaturalism, right? It's kind of, I guess, relatable a little bit, but supernaturalism is basically that ethics is based on the value of gods, right? So it is good because God chose it, not because it is good created by God, right? They're two different things, but that's supernaturalism. And I don't know why I'm talking about this, actually.
No, go on. Supernaturalism.
I wanted to point that out. That's all.
Well, we'll move on to the next topic.
Yeah. The Thing. Yeah, hey, just talk about it.
I'm done talking about The Thing, man. I've been talking about The Thing forever, man. It's always about this thing, that thing, or this thing.
No, you're going to talk about The Thing. What about it?
What thing?
So you said that it's in theaters now.
Well, I think it was, yeah.
In a theater, at least.
Yeah, I was just saying the character design, the creature, the practical effects.
You just want to rewatch it because it was so good, or you think it's
I want to see a
different?
Yeah, I think it might be a little more impactful. I'd like to have that popcorn experience of like, oh, I'm in the theater watching.
Did you watch it at home?
Yeah, I mean, it came out in like '81, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think 81. I think The Thing's 81.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's an old movie, but
yeah, dude, I only watched it
on
TV. Yeah, I didn't watch it in theater. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were born that year, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but also like back then when I was in Korea, there were a lot of movies that
Delayed.
yes, not delayed. It's just that it took time.
Distribution time.
Yeah, like some of them took like years, and then obviously that the ethical standards are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like some of them that are acceptable here were not acceptable there.
Do they have any
Like that.
movies
And
like
then
that?
Years pass, and they think, okay, it's all good now.
Yeah, yeah.
Things
Understandable.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think there's any movies that the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. would deem not acceptable from Korea?
No, I don't think so. If anything, it is more, relatively speaking, it's not really strict anymore, but it's still a little more strict there in Korea, I think, and in Asian countries.
Yeah, I
in
know
general.
China censors a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, let's not even talk about China stuff.
Well, I mean, even in like video games, they do like
Yeah.
they censor like gore and things. That's what I
Oh
was
yeah,
told.
dude. Even Tinder, we talked about this.
Oh yeah, we did talk.
Yeah,
about
they
that.
regulate the types of content.
Yeah.
Like if the user is kids, like between whatever, according to the age, right? Basically, then all they see, or the majority of them that they see, are educational. On not Tinder, I'm sorry, TikTok. I'm talking about TikTok.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that there's a dramatic difference between, China and here.
Yeah. And what's
Even-
acceptable.
Yeah.
I wonder which country has the largest contrast between acceptability and absolutely like heathenism. What do you think they would be? Probably some tribe, and then some modern day place would probably be like the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think within a country, there could be obviously some special cases, like, I don't know, Brazil or South America in general, where there are still this old tribes in Africa as well. But those are kind of rare compared to the rest of the world, right? So
Yeah.
that's not really,
Too extreme.
yeah, that's too extreme. But I think a comparison between countries is more. There are a lot more things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's, for example, Eastern Asian country and, I don't know, France maybe, like sexually more advanced, or I shouldn't say advanced,
Forward thinking, liberal.
more liberal, sexually more liberal, right? Then you will see a lot of differences, dramatic differences, right?
Yeah.
Still, because Eastern Asian countries hold Confucius values so strongly, and don't get me wrong, younger generation is ditching a lot of them, I think, because some of them are not really comparable, not compatible with the current days. But still, my generation, and I'm I don't know, like old millennial, right? Basically, and my father's generation, and the Confucius values are just dominant.
Yeah. That's cool that they're changing. They're even capable of change.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we actually progress or regress. Change is
Yeah.
necessary, right? You gotta do something. I mean, stagnation is the only sure way to fucking die, it seems like.
Yeah, of course.
Just stay stagnant. It will be interesting. I mean, we won't have any idea, but I wonder what the world would be like 200 years from now. I mean, how, they depict it in movies like what 200 years ago was like, but oh man, I don't even think we can even begin to understand their emotional states and their. I mean, you can look at their writing, and I guess you can like kind of infer some things, but I imagine it's just so different than the way it could be ever explained.
Yeah, that's like predicting future is multifaceted task, it's not one dimensional. If you, for example, a lot of movies depict future in terms of, oh, what if AI is like this, right? I mean, it's very one dimensional evaluation or prediction even. But if you combine that with other possibly prominent phenomena or values, then the outcome could be very different.
Yeah, entirely.
That's why those movies are just meant to be, entertaining. That's it. Those are not really comprehensive evaluation.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? Of course. It's a movie. It's just fun experiment, a thought experiment, basically, right? So I'm not really talking about it negatively, but I'm just saying that the reality will become a lot more different than what movies depict.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
It's a very complicated matter. It's not just one factor dominates, therefore the outcome will be like this. There are a lot of dominant factors even today, So I think it's almost impossible for us to even predict.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go try to figure it out right now. You know why? Because it's that time, guys. Spooky season is starting.
The credit, last time.
We would like to thank our loyal Patreon members. John, Casimir, Sinswolf, Rebecca, Lee.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.